Hi guys. Um hmm. Don't know if you can hear me. Let's see. Hey folks. Welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. Okay, so I gotta plug. Okay, yes, apparently I can be seen and heard. Okay, because I'm hearing myself on this. Let me re-plug back in. Oh, thank you, Derek. Yeah, I want to watch replay after I get done with doing a live here. It was really. I am. I'm feeling. I actually got some sleep, and my hormones are not screwing with me right now, which I appreciate. So yay! Hey, Susie B. Hey. Yeah, I'm actually in a decent mood. Okay, so now that I know that that's up and going, all right. So I will get rid of the phone. Put this here. Put that here. Okay. So what would you like to discuss? Plug in my headphones in would be nice, please. Yes, there we go. Okay. Anyhow, welcome to those. There's 5 of you in here. Oh yeah, I left 2 products sitting out. Okay, product placement. If you don't know what this is, go look it up. Hang on. Great product placement. Another one is this one. Okay, I don't know if you can see it all. Anyway, so those I've got sitting out because I need to remember to deal with them later. So anyway, just playing 8-ball technique. Oh my God, you're dealing with pool again? Hey Simon, dealing with pool again? Yeah, I need to get back in and start going back in and playing pool. And what the hell is on? Oh, I was watching, but I was no longer listening. So we need to move that off the TV. There we go. Yeah, so things are a little bit better. I had an orb fly over. Hey, Black Dragon, simplify. Yes. Ooh-ha. Still, I don't know. I got to hear my friend say it in order for me to be able to replay that again in my own head. Anyhow. So I saw an orb fly over and was like, so the show I was on the S4 bunker. And we were kind of, thank you, Susie. I appreciate that. Yeah, I actually curled my bangs today and part of the hair. So if I take the headphones off, the hair's going to go foof. Anyway, so yeah, I was out and about today and had a great appointment early this morning, and actually got to talk with a number of people and face to face, so that was really good. And then I got to come home and deal with a body that didn't want to work properly. And anyway, so this orb, and then I took a nap, and boy, did I need the nap. That helped. So this orb is ET, and it wouldn't be in communication with me, which I was like, oh, come on. You're flying in front of my face. You're flying behind my head. You can see it on my camera, although I wasn't on camera publicly. We were doing a private private video, but talking publicly for the S4 Bunker show tonight. And basically, you could see it coming. They were trying, my camera kept trying to focus in on my face, and I wasn't moving at times. And which means that I've got spirit coming in and the camera is catching it, but it can't focus. It's trying to focus on wherever this thing is moving, and it couldn't. And that happens quite frequently. So if you've got a camera that is doing that, usually means, not always, but usually means that you've got spirit around you, that you've got orbs flying past that your human eye is not picking up, but that technology is. So just an FYI. And then during one of the courses of conversation, when we were talking about sciences, tonight, I had a major scientist on the other side come up, and but they were so far away from my apartment, and I'm like, dude, come over, talk to us. You're obviously are listening in. And we had 5 spirits here that were laughing about different things, and so I was putting myself on mute and talking back to them. Hey, Tim. Hi, Nikki and Nikki enthusiasts. I appreciate that. Thank you. And it just it became really interesting that this scientist, and I could pick up on the energy, but I could not grasp who it was. They didn't want to come close enough for me to register who they were, because I've talked to Einstein before, and most people know that I have had I've had conversations with Einstein. Well, 2 now, but the first one was a major conversation a couple of years ago. But yeah, it just really rather surprised me. And one of the comments was it might have been Stephen Hawking, and I was like, I don't know Stephen's energy. I don't know the play. I don't know. But they were at such a distance that I could, and I was like, wow, okay. So that made things really interesting, because I didn't hear a voice, but I knew that it was a hardcore scientist, but I couldn't figure out who, mostly because they were not allowing me to not only see them, they were not allowing me to feel them, but yet I felt their energy, and I knew that they were deceased. So I do know that it's somebody that is past. So in other words, it was not somebody in astral form, and it was not somebody in higher consciousness form. So just an FYI, if you're having science conversations with somebody, you might end up having somebody famous or not so famous in sciences come around and listen in on what you're talking about. So I kind of wanted to make that known tonight. Also wanted to talk about make sure that you register your own intuition. That was something that we talked about tonight, and it's a reminder to me as well, but I also want it to be a reminder to you guys, that when you have a gut intuition pop up, pay attention to it, and really start listening more to your gut intuition. Really kind of an important thing to do. We all have our own abilities, and it's whether we choose to use them more or not. So just wanted to kind of get that out there. A couple of other things I wanted to talk about, which are not popping up in my head at the moment. One of them had to do with the ETs. Another one had to do with people who are putting out inaccurate information in ufology. Folks who are claiming to be researchers. There's a couple people in chat that actually know what I'm talking about, because I do not typically name people publicly in this way. I'm going to only 2 people, I believe, in chat right now. One is not, one's lurking. The other one I do know is in chat. But yeah, there have been some things that have been really driving me nuts lately. And one of those things is watching people no, sweetie, no, Simon, it's not you. Face, I have a plethora of SOR beard oil, and I swear Dave bottled pine salt. Oh, pine oil. Pine oil is real good with that. So is tea tree oil. Anyway, and especially if you mix it with other things. Anyway, so yeah, I want you to be really careful in what you watch and listen to, and I know a lot of people are aware of that, but I'm really getting. I'm trying not to be as frustrated about these kinds of things because people have information they want to put out. I understand that, and I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is when it is so defined. That I'm like, it's, and they're saying it's only this way and it's only this way. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Just be careful. Even with psychic mediums, and I'm calling me out, I'm calling all psychic mediums out, I'm calling all researchers out, I'm calling everyone in ufology out over this, because everybody at some point or another has done this, me included. I mean, I got cornered on this and I actually got kicked out of a ufology group on Facebook because of this very situation. And I don't mind calling me out. I mean, to me, it was factual because it was my experience. It happened to me. It was a situation that happened to me. And I outright stated in this group that ETs have a season. That's because that's my experience. And and the experience I've talked with others. But I was able to make a determination regarding, this is not based on research. This is what people themselves have told me and my own personal experiences. And I was able to make a determination that certain races of ETs do have a season in abducting humans. And it's because of their own scientific things that they're doing, studies that they're doing on the humans, or how they're dealing with the cycles of life, and of how they want children raised and the next generation or the next season of children to go in to be taught in their schools and that kind of thing. So and that's what I found out. And I made it according to what I was told by the admin, that it was factual. It was factual to me, and it's factual to others. But according to her, and it's based on experience. And I've been able to actually definitively prove this to myself in my own journal writings, based on my own experiences. But it, it may have been a situation to where it's not science factual according to her, and I understood that, but because she didn't want to hear any side of it, she literally evicted me from the group. And it didn't matter what I had to say about other people that I had talked with. And I was like, look, you want to have a conversation, I'll find out if these people are willing to talk in this group and come forward. Two of them were. She didn't want anything to do with it. And she was like, you're out of here. And I'm like, fuck you, bitch. I'm sorry, but it's not very often I say fuck you to somebody, but I was like, you're not even willing to listen to other experiencers, then fuck you. So, just an FYI, that's interesting. It's the second time today that's come up. And that's the second time in 2 days that subject has come up. Okay, so the first one I'm not going to repeat, but the second one, Black Dragon says, Nikki, you may have felt Tesla. He was researching the ether. Be listening. Okay, Simon, thank you. So yeah, it's just it's possible it may have been Tesla. I don't know what Tesla's energy feels like. There were a few things that I know that the soul was chuckling over. And there were some humorous things that were talked about, which makes sense. But there were also some very fascinating science things that were discussed, that were approached. Yes, please hit that like button, says Simon. Dogface. I appreciate it if you do. Anyway, so that's actually that science talk, and the where the conversation was going is what drew in this specific spirit. So, well, thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. I don't know. It's just a fascinating night. It's been an interesting few weeks. As you guys know, I had issues last week with a combination of internet and not being able to have video. I'm not gonna. It showed up, Tim. So Tim says I pushed it, but it won't say that I used. It showed up and then came off. So I don't know. Somebody hit the like button and then it wouldn't show up again. So now it's back to 2. Now it's at 3. There you go. Anyhow, so yeah, it's interesting what draws spirits in. I've had Tim, I love tripping Nikki out. Yes, you do. You smart ass sometimes. Anyway, but that's okay. Because that's what makes life interesting, you know. Anyway, so and I talked to a lot of different people, so he's not the first to like to trip me out because they like to see my reaction. About laughed my head off when a friend of mine sent me a video and I was laughing so hard. Oh my God. I actually sent it to 4 other friends and I couldn't stop laughing. And the friend that originally sent it to me was like, you're cackling, don't you? And I went, which of course it's a good thing they didn't see me on video. I was so bright. I went from bright red from here up. But it was an incredibly funny thing, and it hit me just the right way at just the right time. So it made it even funnier to me. But So anyhow, that's what I was going to say, is you may have, if you're very, I was going to say empathic, energetic, intuitive, if you deal with a lot of light energy, you will probably have a lot of spirits come to you. I've had a number of comedians show up. I've had a presidential son show up. I've had numerous actors show up to me. And we're talking extremely famous individuals. I've had people who have been plumbers to business people, from people who have been in sheer poverty to crime victims. So you never know who's going to show up whether you're emotional or whether you're laughing and enjoying things. Hell, you don't even know if you're going to have Sasquatch show up, because Sasquatch can open a portal and stand there and watch you, and you're like, why am I smelling the garbage can? Or why am I smelling wet dog? I don't have a dog. I have a cat, but the cat doesn't get wet, except for its mouth drinking water, or its ass from peeing. You get different things like that. And heck, you could even have fae if you're having a conversation about fae, or if you're thinking a lot or focusing a lot, you could have different fae energies show up just to see what's going on. It's a frequency. It's a specific energy frequency, and they will come around. And if you're grieving, and you're grieving over a person or an animal, typically your spirit guides will show up. Okay, dealing with earthquakes. Something about earthquakes in or around Japan and Nepal. Interesting. I'll have to look into that later. Get into the USGS website. There's a website that I was given. I can't remember it right now. But anyway, so you may have different spirits that you don't know that come to provide you support during your grieving time, or you may have spirits that are loved ones that you're grieving about, and your spirit guide will get a message. Literally, it's like a chain of messages going out across the ether, from one spirit to another, from one spirit guide to another spirit guide, to get that message to the person that you're grieving about. And usually the person that you're grieving about will show up. If they have not gone into another life, their spirit will come and console you. You just might not feel it, or if you do, it might show up in different ways. You might have, why am I seeing butterflies? Okay, for some person, this has to do with butterflies for them. Dragonflies, certain kind of birds, pennies. And right now I'm literally hearing the old song Pennies from Heaven. I was going to say nickels, feathers. All of that can mean different various things for people. So that's not just angels watching. That's not just angel messages to the person. It's also spirit guide messages. It's also messages from loved ones. So all of those come into play. So just, ouch, think about that kind of stuff if you're grieving. The other thing is, if you're grieving, look into, and I don't know if I've got it with me. Well, this one is this one's from 2018, but I've used this before, but I typically use Rescue Remedy. It's made by Bach Flower Essences. Original Flower Remedies is what it's called, but it used to be called Flower Essences, Original Flower Essences. Anyway, this one, oh God. Woo! There we go. It's a tincture, and you only do a couple of drops of it, and boy, 2 to 5 drops is pretty damn powerful stuff. So anyway, look into things like that. Rescue Remedy is really, personally, I've used that for 30 years. I highly recommend it to loved ones, and I know somebody that it helped who had their dog had died, and really tragic death. Actually, it was deliberately done. The dog had died death is not nice to begin with, but this was just appalling. And so I asked a neighbor to watch my kid, and this is back in the 90s. So asked a neighbor to watch my kid, and I brought up the tincture bottle, Bach Rescue Remedy, and said, are you agreeable to this? Are you willing to try this? And I think she tried 4. I think it was 4 drops. I don't remember if it was 4 or 5, but I think it was 4. And within like 20 minutes, she was like, "What is in that stuff? I feel so much better." And she goes, I'm better able to grasp things and understand things, and I'm not in she's still traumatized, but it wasn't as severe, I should say, and it really helped with her emotions. And so if I remember right, I think I gave her the bottle of that and just bought a new bottle of it, because I think those were the days where I was in counseling and needed different boosts, because I was going through my own dramatic difficulties with my own memories. And I wouldn't call it depression, but it was definitely a sadness. And for me, there are different levels of sadness. So it was dealing with traumatic memories of what I'd experienced. And I was very thankful at the time for the counseling that I went through. But the Rescue Remedy and certain homeopathics really helped me. And a couple of other folks that I knew that were going through difficulties as well. We chose alternatives to deal, and they were doctor approved. Me and the 2 other individuals that I know of, we chose alternative homeopathics in situations versus medical. And those were all 3 of us, each of our doctors, all different doctors, all across Seattle, doctors who didn't know each other, all approved. And let me tell you, in the 1990s, that was really hard to have a medical doctor approve. Yeah, okay, I want to see how you're doing on this treatment instead of using an antidepressant, or instead of using this, or instead of using that. And so that was kind of a big deal. And so that's one of the reasons why if you can do an alternative instead of a high powered drug or prescription, but with the approval of your physician, your primary care physician. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And especially, I think one of the, I know one of the three of us was not in counseling, but two were. So, and we all three came out of it just fine and okay. And so the other one eventually got counseling later on, but it is what it is. You got to trial and error what works for you. Anyway, that's a side note. Point being, you never know who comes through for you on the other side, and you could have spirits come through at any given time. But I gotta say, when I talk to a presidential son who's deceased, and when I talk to a mega superstar, wow, did it rock my world. I mean, I was like, oh my God. Rocked my world in such a way that I was so stunned by the fact that they would come and say, because I for the son, I was watching a documentary. Couldn't think of what the hell it was called. Sorry, my mind's going a bunch of different directions right now because of that documentary, because since then I've seen a lot of other things since then. And once in a very, very, very long blue moon does he ever show up again. But it's like a quick check-in and check-out, and doesn't say anything, but I recognize the energy, and I'm like, wow, you're here, but you're not saying anything. And then they're gone. I'm like, whoa, okay. But the very first time that they said something to me that I heard very clearly, I had knocked my socks off, man. I was like, whoa. And he had a lot to say about one specific subject, about how he died. And boy, it just, it's a mind bender. And then when this mega superstar showed up, I was like, oh my God, holy crap. And she was a mega superstar. And I have a very high respect for her. Then just bombshell individual, bombshell beauty. And why is my background getting lighter when there shouldn't be anything getting it lighter? All the light in my apartment is exactly the same. Nothing has switched. Nothing has changed. I'm not moving a lot. Yeah. Very interesting. Anyway, so that's the kind of things that I'm talking about, and the focus just shifted too. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. I got spirits walking behind me or being around me, and that's fine. I got somebody here from the 1930s. Holy crap. Okay. Can't pick out who it is just yet, but whoa. Anyway, so that's kind of, 33 minutes into this, and those are the kind of things that I wanted to talk about tonight. If you have a subject matter, feel free and type her in. Type it in. What do you guys want to talk about? I'm surprised Paramarv. I saw Paramarv in SOR. I'm surprised Paramarv isn't here. Tim, Simon, Black Dragon, Susie B. Who else? Hang on a minute. Whoops. Wrong thing to be hitting. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Derek. Anybody else? Angels Are Life. That's me. Anybody else have any subjects you guys want to talk about tonight? Because I'm a talker. I can talk on most subjects. Okay, why? Oh. Somebody just said capital letter T ends with the letter P. You want to talk about World War II? Well, just before we talk about World War II, Black Dragon, somebody on the other side is trying to get me to talk about a presidential candidate who obviously was a former. And I don't know why. I'm not picking anything up from that, but they wanted me to say the name. I refuse to say that name on my channel. Wow. At least I refuse tonight to say that name on my channel. Oh, something about a reading, something about a... What the hell? Say that again? You're not coming in crystal clear, which means you need to shift your frequency up because I'm not shifting my frequency down to hear you. You need to speak louder if you're going to do that. Okay, quote unquote, what's coming in? Do you mean what's coming as in future? Futuristic? Yes, okay. Oh, God. Last time I had stuff on any psychic information on presidential stuff, it was regarding Biden, and that was back in just before he won. Okay, so apparently I'm supposed... Is that what... Okay. Apparently I'm supposed to publicly state yet again, hello to the 7th person coming in. Whoever you are, hello, welcome. Apparently I am supposed to be reminding people that, yes, I have publicly talked about this many times before, but apparently it's supposed to be now again. 3 months before an actual election, before the polls open, and it's literally on the nose of 3 months before. Well, last time it wasn't, but typically for many years prior to that, it was exactly on the nose of 3 months before an actual election day. I always had psychic hits of who is going to win the presidential election. And every single one of them have come true. And we're talking multiple years running of this, okay? We're talking going all the way back, oh God, about 17 years worth of this. So I'm going to say between 17 and 20 years, but it's somewhere in that timeline. Now, that said, hey, lovey love. I hope you're doing okay, my dear. Welcome. And so basically, yeah, I gotta say, there were a couple of them before that. I saw the one with the T winning it. I saw Biden winning it. I saw... Oh my God. It goes back before that. Oh my God. It goes long back before that. I can't think of names. I literally had everybody's names in my head. I was going to go down the list, and now they're all gone. Thank you. I had Obama. I saw Obama. That's the one where it really... That's actually when I saw Obama winning it 3 months before. Yeah, I saw him too. George Sr., yeah. But the thing of it is that it didn't register with me until I saw Obama. That was when I started really registering that this was a thing with me. I'd been doing it for years before that, but I never paid attention to it. And it actually rather freaked me out when I made the realization, oh my God, Obama's going to win it. And matter of fact, it was him at and this is why I remember it, because it hit me so freaking hard. He was at the podium he was out, I want to say out in a cornfield. That is not what I mean. He was stumping. That's the phrase that is popping in my head right now. He was out stumping. He was giving a speech in an open air environment, and I'm classifying it as that because I can't grasp my words the way I want to right now, and that's really frustrating with me because I'm getting effed with right now, and I know I'm getting effed with, and it's screwing with what I'm trying to say because I'm trying to grasp my memories at the same time as do four other things in my head, and yet I'm getting intuitive stuff at the same time, and it's starting to F with me. So I apologize to you folks because I usually have all of that under control, but it's been a long day today. Even though I am wide awake, I am feeling better. Everything is doing a lot better right now, but I usually don't let all of this frustrate me like this. I usually just deal with it, contend with it, and move on. And it's like, I'm going to slap the crap out of somebody that caused this, but I won't. And it's funny because I said that last night to somebody that started screwing with me. And I actually said, if you don't effing leave me alone for a few minutes so that I can talk to somebody, I'm going to come over and I'm going to slap the shit out of you. And funny enough, they literally went, bye. It's funny how that happens sometimes. Anyway, so point being is that Obama was, they were doing, I don't remember it being a live broadcast on TV. I remember it being like a replay of one of his things, one of his speeches at, I want to say convention. It's not a convention anyway. He was out in the open air. And, the funny thing is I've never seen that video replay of it ever since. And I would love to see it because I can definitely confirm which one. If I had that, I could definitely confirm exactly which one it was while he was on his presidential way. But that's when it registered with me just how much of a pattern this was with me for years. And that's the one that struck me so hard. But yeah, Lovey Love was asking George Sr. with a question mark afterwards. I'm like, yeah, both of them. And I remember it creeping me out. I think that's why, because I remember the earlier ones where it creeped me out, and I think that I just didn't want to know. I didn't want to know that I could do that, and now it's like I don't give two shits if I could do that. It's just part of how things are, and but it's real specific. For me, it's run the gambit between exactly 3 months on the mark or 3.5 months before. And last year it was 3.5 months before, which just flipped me out because it was a change in sooner rather than later. And I'm to the point where I really dislike watching politics because I start seeing psychic stuff. It doesn't happen every freaking time I see something that's politics. But if what I've found is that if I'm consistent watching politics, then I start getting vision after vision after vision after vision. And it's just, I'm like, there's just some things I don't want to know. Like I don't want to know certain things about certain political people. And then there are times where, like, for example, I made it extremely public about Biden and what I saw. And I posted that publicly on my Facebook page because I was like, I know you guys are watching. I knew I was already being watched by deep government, but I was like, and I don't care who you are politically. I'm one for saving lives. I'm one for, I don't give a shit who you are. And I actually put out a statement, and you can go back through, you can scroll through my public side of my Facebook page, and you'll be able to see it. It is a number of years, it's been a number of years ago now. And I made it very public as to this needs to be taken care of. This is what you need to watch out for. And yeah, I agree, Tim. It's only there to divide us. I very much agree with that. But I was like, look, this is going to take place. And if this isn't done, then you're going to have a nightmare on your hands, a very serious situation. And then what I did is I got somebody on the phone with me, and I said, I need to say something. This is not directed at you. And they're like, oh, you're giving a message. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, go for it. Say whatever you want to say. And I said, this is about this individual. I said, I know that you're listening, or that you will be listening because I've said this specific phrase. And this needs to be taken care of. You know who I am. You know I have abilities. And interestingly enough, there are certain things that I knew that got taken care of. I mean, I knew. I just knew certain things got taken care of, and I knew that they were watching and listening and paying attention. And I actually, in that phone call, I said, go down through my page. You will see it. It's going on. Please deal with this. I will not make this part public. This person will know what I have said, but you're listening in. And that's how I get certain messages out that are really, to me, really important. And there were other things that I saw happening because of, if that specific thing happened, then these other things would happen. And those other things were dramatically worse than this one thing. And so they both played into each other. And I was like, you've got to deal with this, please. This is very, very serious. And you're looking at some major things. And so that's one of the ways that I know that I'll get a message out, different ways. So anyway, I'm babbling. But yeah, when you've got abilities, and start writing them down. I mean, I didn't register that for many freaking years, many years. And it wasn't until Mr. Obama was a candidate for presidency, and then I had that psychic vision, and boom, 3 months later, he was right there winning it. And I was like, oh my God. So kind of a big deal. And I know other people can do that. I know it's not just me that can do that. But you don't hear it talked about very often. Sorry, my wrists are popping. It's a little on the odd side. I haven't read chat in a few minutes, so let me go back, scroll back up. Okay. I want to talk about why people ruin people's lives for money. Derek, you're going to have to wait because Black Dragon asked about World War II. He wants to talk about World War II. So we're going to do that first. Derek, Paramarv just told me to tell everyone he says hi, and he's busy with work tonight. Okay, thank you, Derek. I very much appreciate that. Hey, Susie. Back in. Okay, drawing at. Wait a minute. Where did that remark go? Where the hell did that disappear to? Drawing and. Oh, Susie, what are you drawing, hun? I love drawing. I used to love drawing. I haven't been into my art in quite some time. Drawing side of it. I used to do portraits. I used to do all sorts of things. I used to do oil painting portraits too. There. Oh, beautiful, Susie. She says an American Indian canoeing across a river. Mwah. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful idea. Would love to see it sometime. Drop me a line. Send me a picture. Would love to see that. Okay. Love you, love it, Black Dragon. There is one kid does stocking at my local grocery store, and I catch him effing around. Instead of doing the stocking, he really tries to play it off, though. I don't blame him. F these corporations, Tim. I used to be like that, but now I have ethics. Screw me, haha. Ability to do whatever as well. If I can't, then it ain't for me. Black Dragon, I work with a huge saw that uses AutoCAD using Windows 98, very old school. Okay, so going back into, you wanted to talk about World War II, hon. Black Dragon, what about World War II did you want to talk about, sweetie? Yeah, solid operating system, yeah. Dry wood. I've got somebody here who smells like dry wood. Oh my god, do I have a Sasquatch here? No, I don't feel like I've had a Sasquatch. Drying wood. Who knows a woodworker? Whoa, that's getting intense, dude. That's like really getting intense. So somebody in chat who knows a woodworker working around really dry wood. It's like I'm not smelling sawdust. I'm smelling. Okay, Josh, Justin. Joshua. That's still there. It's not as strong, though. Burnt some incense. No, this is not incense. I know you're just kidding, though. Yeah, it reminds me of firewood. Black dragon. My father used to cut his own firewood. Okay, now we're going up into the mouth instead of the nose. It was coming in through my nose and I was starting to feel it in my skin. That has died down, but now it's coming in through the roof of my mouth and up, which is different. It's a different form of one of my senses. Yeah, it ain't that lovey love. That's what a neighbor of mine does. I can tell what they're smoking by the smell, whether it's sweet or all of that. That is my father. Joshua, is his name Joshua, Black Dragon? Lovey love. I split a log with an axe once and felt really proud. Oh, I used to split logs all the time. Used to split wood quite often. Early 90s and stuff. Of course, I was a girl with an axe. I was a girl with a shovel. I did a lot of stuff. I don't have, there's no message. I mean, skin cancer that ate away his nose and oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like under my tongue now. It's still at the back of my throat, but not as strong. It's like it's dissipating. No, I literally just heard he wants you to know he's around. Which makes me wonder what the hell is going on in your life, dear boy. Nikki, I know that is an annoying smell for non-smokers. Yeah, I don't smoke. But it's well, I used to be allergic to it. Thankfully, I'm not allergic to it anymore. I used to. Oh, I'm not going to say that, but I've not smoked it. Well, I smoked it once when I was in college, but I haven't. Been a very, very long time. Very, very long time. But what I was going to say is that I was around a number of people a number of years ago who used to smoke it, and it would just permeate my clothes. Used to come home, go, oh, okay, I need a shower, and I need to put my clothes in the laundry immediately, because it permeated everything. It wasn't a nice smell for me. Tim. Okay, so Tim's talking about splitting logs, and he said, I always used a wedge and sledgehammer. Yeah, I didn't do that. I used an axe and would split cords of wood. Wouldn't be very often, but when I'd get into it, I would do it quite frequently, long before the back injury. Saw a lady on TikTok that had all these survival hacks, and 98% of them involved logs and things. She was hot and extra hot for her knowledge and skills. Yeah, I've known people like that that do that very thing. I mean, yeah. Okay, so you're dealing with it. I'm going to make this classification ahead of time, because I have gotten people that are like, oh, you're gay, or oh, you're bi, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not, but okay, that's your viewpoint. And I don't have anything. I've got friends who are gay. I've got friends who are bi. I've got all kinds of friends. And what I was going to say is that you're dealing with Nikki just had a smooth swing hot. I had what was I going to say? Oh, so you're dealing with a retired old school photographer with dealing with SLR, single lens reflex type of cameras, and which I do have digital, but they're all packed away. Well, only two, but they're packed. Anyway, the point being is that I've got a photographer's eye and I love the human body. And so I will see women who are just drop dead gorgeous to me, and I will see men who are drop dead gorgeous to me. And gorgeous is in the eye of the beholder. There have been times where I've been traveling by bus, city bus or what have you, or commuter bus, whatever. And I have seen people, whether they have been in their 80s on a bus or whether they have been teenagers on a bus. And I'm like, wow, that's a beautiful face that should be photographed. And of course I don't, but I'm usually, I don't walk up to the teenagers, but usually the adults, I'll say, as I'm passing by, you've got a beautiful smile, or, love your hair or love your shoes or something, because it's to not only to brighten their day, but it's to let them know somebody took notice of them in a healthy, positive, constructive way. And that's important that we all do that for different people. I mean, if you see something, say something about. And there was a woman that I saw in a grocery store, and this was 3 or 4 years ago. And it's to this day, I still think of this periodically, because she was obviously having a really bad day. And she's a beautiful woman, and you could tell that things were just not going right. And she had, at the time, the coolest shoes I'd ever seen. I don't even remember the shoes at this moment, but I remember her hair, and she had flawless makeup on. And I mean, it was done beautifully. And yet it was done to where it almost looked like she didn't have makeup on. I mean, that takes frickin' talent. Nowadays it's everything's God, it's so different now. Anyway, and what I noticed was her shoes. And so that actually explains the blue light. I've got a TV that just popped up with a scenery picture of a lake and bright blue sky. So if you see blue, that's what's going on. And what I noticed was her shoes first. And then I noticed her demeanor. And I mean, this woman could have been like a 40-something-year-old model. She that pretty. And I looked at her, and I had just gone grocery shopping. I had just come away from the counter with the cart, just made the right turn, and she had obviously forgotten something, because she was ahead of me, couple, I don't know, 2-3 people in line ahead of me, and I noticed the shoes before I really noticed her, and she had turned around and come back, so she was facing, I was going to say facing me. She wasn't on my right side. She was on my left side, actually. And I looked at the shoes, and I looked at her, and she had, what I didn't notice before was she had something of color in her hair. I can't remember what color, but I just looked at her and I said, I love your shoes and I love the color in your hair. And And of course I did it with a smile on my face, and because I did it literally, she brightened my day because she had these wonderful shoes. I can't remember, it's some kind of design or something, and they were a pair of art shoes. I remember that. And she stopped and she looked down at her shoes. It was like she had forgotten what she was wearing, and she looked back up and she beamed. I mean, it just, the happiness just emitted from her. And that's the kind of thing you got to remember. You got to remind people that they have beauty within themselves. Even strangers. I mean, there was a gentleman today who was in a wheelchair who was getting off an elevator, and he stopped in front of a door, and I was about to get on the elevator, and I went, no. And I turned around and I said, excuse me, do you need help with the door? And he's like, no, but I thank you. And I mean, you could tell in his voice, it was a relief that somebody asked him, but he got it. And you could tell that when he got off the elevator, he was stressed out. But just in the shift, in just saying something to him, somebody took notice, somebody was there. And if we could do that for each other, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if it's a stranger or somebody you know, take notice, say something to them. You know, even if it's a polite something, or it can actually shift somebody's energy. It wasn't an intention of mine to shift somebody's energy. It was like, God, you know, those were fantastic shoes. And I love the color and the hair, and I just, you know, and this gentleman, it is just natural to go, oh, he's in a wheelchair. It's not electrified. It's not this, it's not that. And that door was closed. And I took notice of it. But the shift in his voice, you could tell there was a sense of relief that somebody took notice. You got to do for things like that. Okay, scrolling back up. Digging a hard North Carolina ground ain't easy. Had to help bury. Ooh, I understand that. You have the same cancer as him, Black Dragon. I am so sorry. Hit me up privately, Black Dragon. I was going to say text message. That's not what I mean. Email me certain things to research. Starting the live for the first time ever. Let's see what all the fuss is about. I don't know what you're talking about, Derek. Oh, They Live. Oh, you're talking about the movie. Okay, got it. Never mind. Love you, love. I feel that way. Smoke's in the house, and I'm a little allergic now. Yeah, I can't handle being around cigarette smoke. I get very ill from it. Now, interestingly enough, I don't when it comes to pipe tobacco. Of course, it depends. If it's cheap pipe tobacco, then I get sick. If it's quality or the really expensive quality stuff, it's like, it's a natural, I have a good reaction to it. So I understand, love you, love. Nikki just had a smooth swing hot. Whoops, hit the wrong button. I just really want to learn those things. Diana, hello. I hope you're still here. I haven't read this is the first time I'm seeing chat. Welcome to my chat. Welcome to my live video. Black Dragon, I done axe wedge and log splitter. My tip of left ring. Same. Yeah. Black Dragon, I'm sorry. But the finger. Tim, all my lights in the house went on and off at different times when you started your live stream, Nikki. It was bizarre. In my opinion, that's probably a spirit that you have that is saying hello. Do, 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 do. I don't have a hit on that, but that would be my guess. And Lovey Love says hello to Diana as well. And so does Tim. And Diana says hello and thank you. Okay. Lovey Love. I told our waitress today she was a beautiful woman in front of everyone. I kind of wonder if she knew that wasn't meant like a line, but as a real compliment. It takes more than your outside. Yeah, it really does, Love. It really, truly does. And people have a hard time accepting that sometimes. It makes things interesting. Anyway. And Lovey Love says, even my offspring agreed. Good deal. Lovey Love. You are a pretty lady, Nikki, but you have a light that shines regardless of what you're dealing with. It is welcoming, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Beauty shines from the inside out. Yes, it very much does. I've seen beauty in people that some seniors are so old and wrinkly that others have said, "Ooh, they're ugly." And I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't see the beauty in this individual? It just blows my mind. I'm like, it's about choices we make. It truly, truly is about choices we make. Black Dragon, love. In other words, Lovey Love. My energy goes out to you. Lovey Love. She had a ponytail and her hair was down to her butt and it was thick and gorgeous. She was short like me. Ha ha ha. Italian. Oh my God. So sweet. Cool. Well, that's really cool. Susie. Those shoes may have been a gift from someone special, maybe. Very possible, Susie. Love you, love. Thank you, fellas. These spots are from all the sun worshipping my generation did in our youth. Yes, I understand that one. Wow. Yeah, being out on the deck and having a towel, just a very thin towel across the tatas so that no nipples show, and a very well placed, yeah, I understand. And you're covered in head to toe in baby oil or in Hawaiian tropics. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. Oh my God. Every time I move this chair, it goes bonkers. Anyway, Lovey Love, do you like hugs, Nikki? Yeah, I'm usually a hugger. I'm very much usually a hugger. Although I gotta say, when I've stood in front of between 250 to 500 people on a stage once. I can't handle hugs at a convention like that because you get so much energy coming at you that it becomes very hard. And the strongest bubble can really affect. So I have a tendency of avoiding shaking hands now. I have a tendency of not doing the hugs unless it's somebody that I truly know, have met before and know their energy and that kind of stuff. I'm trying to get out of that because I am a hugger, but at the same time, I also, okay, hang on a minute. It's going to make a sound. I do know that at conventions, and when you haven't seen somebody in a long time, or when you're meeting somebody for the first time and they're a hugger too, it gets to be rather interesting. So, welcome to the 8 people who are in chat right now. Black Dragon, what's your prognosis, if it's okay to ask? Love you, love. My mom has had her lunch bought at the Cracker Barrel twice. Yeah, they've got good food. She's an angel and one of my personal saints. Yeah, I understand that. Love you, love. Do you like hugs? Tim. Love you, love. That's sweet. Black Dragon, Tim, I hadn't been to a doctor in 20 years. I know what I have caused. It is what my father had. Diana, I'm so sorry. Love you, love. I worry about my offspring's dad because he hasn't had his gray crusty spots on his arms look at, and he's had them. And yeah, I understand that. That's how my mom was. And I have my mom's back looked at specifically for them because she never used to have moles on her back. And I didn't find out about the moles on her back until she had her stroke in 2015. And then I found out that she'd been having them checked once a year by a dermatologist. And so when I ended up dealing with her care, you got to have your moles looked at and your certain freckles looked at, because especially if they shift and change. So I totally understand that. That cherry smelling pipe tobacco is nice. Yeah, it can be. He's walking. No, he's walking to homeless camp. Also died of cancer. Oh, Tim, I'm sorry. Black Dragon, I will be fine, Nikki, but thanks. Trust me, I had research cancer cures. Okay. Have you looked into alternative ones, hon? When the malls had a store called the Tinderbox, it smelled awesome. Yeah, there was this pipe tobacco store at Northgate Mall in Seattle. I don't remember the name of it. I don't believe it was Tinderbox. It was a cigar. It was it was something. It was like smoke shop, but it was smoke something shop. But it was a cigar. It was a cigar. Oh my God, Nikki! Cigar, pipe tobacco, and pipe store. It had a what was it, 6-foot tall piece of armor, like knight in shining armor, that kind of armor. It was really kind of cool. Oh, Black Dragon, I'm sorry about your sister. Lovey love. You are a beautiful human, Nikki. Thank you, lovey love. As are you. My daughter wants to marry an Italian businessman. Ooh. Say, Tim, how's it going, love? Lovey love. Let's grease up with baby oil, or for my mom or Nancy, butter worked. Yeah, I do miss the smell of Hawaiian tropic tanning oil, though. I used tanning beds too in my 20s. Oh my God, I did the same thing. I did that in my teens, late teens. Yeah, overwhelmed on a large group too. Yep, same. Only close acquaintances, at least. Tim, I used to. Whoops. Used to disappear around time every. Done since 3 years. Love my nanny and mom. Have olive complexions though. Yeah, I've got family that have that as well. Love. Sorry if I'm posting too much. I'm just waking up. No, honey, you're fine. Tim at Diana. Hello, welcome to SOR after SOR with Nikki. True. Tim, Black Dragon at Black Dragon. Man, rough bro. Totally get you and understand what. Tim, I love the smell of good tobacco, just not when it's on fire. Yeah, I agree. Well, yes and no. It depends. I've got one neighbor who smells TV just shifted again, so I got different light coming in. So feel free to comment, Nikki. Any advice on dating Italian businessmen? Welcome. Hit me up on Facebook. We'll have a conversation. And the only reason why I say anything is because I know somebody who's gone down that route. So, and I can give you bits and pieces of what I was told. I can't give you their story, but I can give you bits and pieces. But I'm not having that conversation publicly. Alexa arrhythmia dealing with emotions is hard for me, but I learned to cut them off when I need to. Yeah, cherry wood or mahogany cabinetry to house the pipe wares and the collectibles I was there to look at for my mom. Oh my God, yeah. See, I grew up around a master woodworker, and he literally started, and it's no longer, supposedly no longer in business. The Yakima Wood Carvers Association. Yakima Woodworkers or the Yakima Wood Carvers Association? No, it's Wood Carvers Association. Anyway, my great uncle started it. I mean, he talked about it for years, and he was interviewed on a TV news show about it, and they did a thing on him. And when my son was born, God, I think my son was, when we went to Yakima and our family visited my aunt and uncle, and my cousins were there, and my grandparents were there. I think my son was 1.5 years, somewhere between 9 months to 1.5 years old. And I was shown a video of this news thing that they did on him, and I was just like, wow, it was the first I'd heard of that. So it was pretty exciting. So I grew up, my great aunt and uncle babysat me for a couple of years, if I remember correctly. And he was a wood carver and woodworker, and He made wood jewelry. He made wooden jewelry with abalone shell in it. He made pendants and belt buckles for the guys and brooches for the women and necklaces for the women. And I think he even did earrings, but I'm not 100% sure on that. He did barrettes for the women. He did all sorts of different things. And then he started getting into carving busts. And he carved a Native American bust that to this day is in my memory. I've got pictures somewhere of that one. It's a Native American bust. I can't remember of exactly who it is at this moment. And he used to hand carve chains, and they were all one piece of wood, and they were all he used to hand carve violins, working violins that were this big. He used to hand carve wrenches, literal working wrenches and out of one piece of wood. Nothing was ever cut in half and re-glued. Am I here? Yes, Tim, you are here. Diane, that sounds pretty. Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, the stuff that he made was just phenomenal. So when my mom and I would go camping with my great aunts and uncles, we'd all be sitting around the fire in different chairs and different camp chairs. And back then they were, of course, you had the 1970s version and early 80s versions of these chairs. They were not the kind of camp chairs that we have now. And he'd be sitting there carving out a piece of wood and, oh, what you making, uncle? And what you making, unk? Depending, you could only get away with that very rarely, calling him unk. And so, he'd tell you he was making a chain. What do you mean you're making a chain? So, or he was making a pair of actual working scissors. And I've got and he made these into Christmas ornaments as well. I mean, he'd use redwood, he'd use cedar wood, he'd use cherry wood, all kinds of woods. And then he'd start carving birds, and he just elaborate things. He even made a cowboy hat that he used to wear at woodworking shows. So yeah, it's yeah, you were wondering if you were getting shadow banned. My chats weren't going through. Black Dragon, that's what I thought. I am Hop. Oh, you're Hopi. Awesome. Thank you for being here. So anyway, yeah, it just Ben, I've got the hat. Eventually I might bring it out. I've got 2 of his birds, and one bird is good 3.5 feet tall, and the other one is maybe 2 feet tall, or 2.5 feet. One, they're about a foot apart from each other. So one's 3.5, the other one would be 2.5. So yeah, I've got them very well carefully packed up because they are very skinny, very, very, very skinny pieces of wood with a base. So very skinny legs. So yeah, stuff my grandfather financially bought from my great uncle. It was rather a big deal. I think my great uncle was downsizing what he wanted. to do, and he wanted to be sure that it went to family. And my grandfather was like, well, okay, how about if I pay you for it? So that's what they did. I was just like, wow, it blew me out of the water. So I think they moved to Arizona. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, hon. Hey, Sovereign. So yeah, it's just things get and it's interesting that my great uncle, it's interesting that he chose that specific Native American to do a bust of. I'm trying to remember how tall the bust is. Let's see, I've got a tape measure sitting here. If I remember right, it's bigger than 18 inches. It's like, yeah, it's a good 22 inches in height. I mean, it's a good size bust, and it's a good replica. I mean, he got the face, he got the everything about it. I want to say it's Geronimo, but I don't remember if that's correct or not. Yeah, I'm getting confirmation it's Geronimo. And that's not how his name was pronounced in the correct tongue. Anyway, so I apologize for not pronouncing that the correct way. I do not remember the actual correct name. Anyway, what I was going... hang on 1 minute. What I was going to say is that I now know who my great uncles were. They were Native American at the same time that I was Native American. In a past lifetime, classify this as, okay, so last one would be 1, 2, 3 lifetimes ago. So it was in the 1800s. And so, and for me, I call it the crazy thing is, but it's not crazy at all. It's just, that's just how I speak. But I'm going to say it again. The crazy thing is that I knew them back then. They were mentors to me, even though they were of a different tribe, different nation. And they knew me very well. So hello to the 9th person coming in. Oh, I think that's Sovereign. So you're learning about it. Awesome. You and love you and your family are talking about family legacy. That's pretty cool. I was just told Geronimo is a spirit guide. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me. To be quite honest. I know the energy of my great uncles very well. And I find it really fascinating how the men in that side of my family, who they were in a past lifetime. It just absolutely amazes me. I'm not saying he was that individual, but I do know which Native American he was. I know who both of them were. I've just never said it publicly, and I probably never will. And I will never say who I was nor who my siblings were. So, but yeah, there are a lot of things that I remember. I even talked about that 3 weeks ago on a podcast, kind of like a radio show type podcast, where I talk about that very thing, about what I remember, and why I get so pissed off at U.S. government and the atrocities and the genocide. And yeah, okay, now I'm getting pissed. So yeah, I there are things that I remember from that lifetime. People that I loved and cared about that were slaughtered for no damn good frickin' reason. So yeah, I mean, we hold on to those angers and those injustices in our lifetimes, especially when it's genocidal type of injustice that lasts with us in our soul for many, many lifetimes to come. It's taken me a long time to be able to not want to cause vengeance, because vengeance isn't the way. Believe me, I understand the feeling of it, but it is not the way to go about stuff. Oh, that's always fun. Black Dragon to Tim. My guide had to kick my ass for me to learn about energy. Yep, I understand that. Been there. Um, fresh tobacco, yeah. Offspring just corrected me. He doesn't have really Italian, preferably from Italy. Oh, interesting. Sicily, perhaps? Love you, love. Black Dragon to Love You Love. I normally don't open up for often. Yeah, that's understandable. A lot of people don't. I mean, there are good reasons why people don't. I finally came out of the psychic closet, and I had folks in family who didn't necessarily like it. Not all, Tim, but many, many are. Yes, I agree with that. I think of olive oil, and I think of the different kind of Mediterranean foods. It really creates a different kind of skin environment for the skin that is healthier. So yeah, I think that has a lot to do with, especially if they're traditional. A lot of people aren't traditional anymore, but yeah. Iroquois. Understand. I'm not going to say what I was, but yeah. Ba-dum-bum-bum. We've hit a number of subjects. Oh, we didn't hit the ET stuff tonight. Tonight's been all about spirit. Black Dragon, I literally heard sister. Not sure if it's a past lifetime sister or sister that didn't come into this lifetime this time around. Or what. Anyhow, what the hell was I going to talk about with ET regarding ETs? Talked a little bit about some of that. I guess tonight's been all about spirit stuff. So if you have any questions, ask away. I'm not going to guarantee what is going to pop up, but you can ask. I'm kind of starting to chill on out now. Tim, let's talk some ETs. Black Dragon, ET and bacon? Oh, dear God. That's the third time bacon's come up. Okay, so bacon. I think everybody loves bacon, real bacon. Anyway, oh, good grief. Pardon me, guys. When you got the big tatas, you got to have the bra up where it's supposed to be. Pardon me, folks. Anyway, yeah, I love bacon. Oh my God, I do too. Matter of fact, I always have sausage in the house. I miss not having bacon. Quality bacon that doesn't have all the nitrates and in it. You know, all the curing of with using the toxic shit. So, yeah, that stuff makes me very, very sick. So I get real specific when I start looking for bacon and making sure that I can have quality. So, anyway, so okay, so ETs. What do you want me to do? Approach on the ET subject? What would you like to talk about? I'm at an hour and 42 right now. I'm willing to go probably 2.5 hours tonight. Or we can shut it down now. But if we're going to talk ETs, it's probably going to go 2.5. So let me know. Yeah, that's why I said bacon. That's exactly why I said it that way, Diana. Tim at Diana, supposedly pork and taste similar. Someone told me once. Okay, that's interesting and a little frightening. Diana, I think of that dog commercial. Black Dragon to Diana, before you go to sleep, try and think about her when you wake up and remember a dream, write it down. Yeah, so here's something that is really rather important to do if you want to start remembering your dreams. Write them down. Have a notebook near you with a pen or a pencil or whatever you want to write with. And that way, when you first wake up, flip a light on that's easy access to you right next to your bed and start writing. Just write what you remember down. And then over the course of the day, write down, like on a Post-it note, write more information down and tape it to your journal. Because here's the thing, other memories might pop back up once you have that written. And then you can start analyzing your dreams better. And you can keep a dream journal history and then make the determination which dreams are prophetic versus which dreams are you're going into astral, which dreams you're going into higher consciousness, which dreams you are being taken, because a lot of times the ETs that do abductions, they like to toy with the human brain, and they put things in what feels like a dream state. Just an FYI. Nikki and I doing tag team. Tag team doing what, dear boy? Anyway, a bunch of different things ran through my head. Tag team back again. Cue the song. Bacon is the hardest pork to resist. So when a hypocrite. Interesting. Tim, yes. From River Monsters. Experience that, just not smoke it. This is a nice time for North Carolina foothills. Sounds like a good idea. Much appreciated. Stretched denim is. Lovey Love. That's why they call her Darling Nikki. You know, I could tell you stories, Lovey Love, that maybe get your eyes to go, woo. Yeah. Yeah, in high school, Amy, hey, sweetheart. That's good to see you here. You might be here. Well, I'm glad you're here, dear. That song can still make me blush. Oh, it doesn't make me blush anymore. Although when I was in high school and that song came out, and my name being Nikki, oh my God, did I get shit for that song. As much as I love Prince, and as much as I love the ladies who were singing, yeah, that song caused me all kinds of problems. I have people that I know with different names that are song titles, and they're like, that song is actually worse than anything we've ever experienced. Regarding getting teased and oh holy shit and all this other stuff. So Prince wasn't my first crush, not by any stretch of the imagination, but because you got to remember, I was born in 68, so I'm 55. So I'm older than a lot of you folks in here. So yeah. Baby, let your horses run free. And who the hell are you talking to? Because I could tell you some stories. So I could resonate with Little Red Corvette, or I did. Yeah, I could too. There were a lot of songs in that I just deeply love. Yeah, Lovey Love says, you look and feel young, lady. Yeah, I usually get told I'm in my 30s, which I very much appreciate. Very, very, very much appreciate. But here's the thing. I've always been somebody who can resonate with a much younger crowd, and I've always been somebody who can resonate with a much older crowd. I've got friends that I consider family that are in their 70s. I've got friends that are 28 to 36. I've got friends in their 40s, so I hit quite an age range. I mean, and my humor runs the gambit. I mean, I was raised by adults. I'm an only child. Hello, excuse me. Hello to the 10th person who came in. So I was raised by adults. I didn't have a lot of kids growing up around me, and I mean, I had friends, don't get me wrong, but and I was in I was in Bluebirds and Campfire, and I did that. I didn't do the Girl Scout thing, but I did the Campfire. I did the Bluebirds and the Campfire, which is a Seattle thing. Not a nationwide, it's a local thing. It was not a nationwide thing. I stepped away for a bit, says Sovereign. Did you answer my questions, Nikki? I didn't see questions for me, dear. Black Dragon Love. That song at first. Fun karaoke song. She farted it out. Damn, I most certainly did not. Now you know better. You like just to get to see my reaction. Stinker. Diana says, damn, oh wow, laugh my ass off. Yeah. Hang on, I'm catching up now at 2 times speed. We poot. We poot. Is that it? Yes, you do look younger. I would not think that. Yeah, thank you, Diana. I very much appreciate that. Keep switching to top chat. Yeah, mine was too earlier, Lovey Love. Sovereign. I'm looking back in. Yeah, it doesn't show it. It shows a question that you asked Diana, but it doesn't show me. My lights just freaked again. Are you sitting on your couch? Or are you in bed, Tim? Y'all lookers, please be lovers and hit the like button, please. You're on your couch. Okay. It won't be me. They trying to hold us back. Couch, yeah. That's what I thought you meant, Tim. And you're not having any. Okay, so my question is, are you okay? So folks that know me and Tim and Lovey Love and Sovereign and Amy and a bunch of others in here know me pretty good now, in the sense of I'm always going to ask science-y type things. So and it's critical thinking stuff. I mean, it's just basic, simple stuff. So Tim, directed at you, dear boy. Do you have any wind going on outside? Do you have crows or ravens standing on light poles, or on, not light poles, on wires, shaking the lines going to your apartment building? Is it the entire apartment building that went like that, or is it just your specific location? It's not my fault. Don't blame me. Yeah, I'm just having a nervous system reaction that is putting out pulses of energy that is affecting your electricity. Could be. It could be anything, but I go to the science stuff before I go to the well, it's interesting. My green bra looks like it's black. That's interesting in this light. Anyway, how is Mary Jane and the 3 kids? Anyway, so yeah, I mean, you actually it's teal, but anyway, Nikki, it was difficult individual lamps. I have 3 light in the house. Wow, okay. Amy, now I realize why I don't watch many movies. They get too many things technically wrong. Yeah, I understand that. 3 different lights in the house. Okay. And I bet they're all on 3 different outlets, maybe? Or 2, not difficult. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I just, Sovereign. So ask again, Sovereign. I'm not going to repeat that out loud. People can see it in chat if they want to see it. Love you, love. I gather that's it, Tim. It really wasn't me. I'm not there. Yeah, at Tim. You doing some Crowley Parsons conjuring over there? Love you, love it. Black Dragon, tell us about what you felt, Tim. Different outlets, but one power supply. Okay, so yeah, no, I understand what that means. Yeah, is there something going on with the switch? Like maybe because you've had that's the second time tonight. Um, that's the thing that I was just going to ask, Lovey Love. I was going to ask if there was a situation with the electric box, or if there is a situation where you've got critters in the ceiling that are chewing on electric cords. I mean, that happens. I had that in a place that I was living in once. God, that was many, many freaking years ago. I've got goats. Yes, I know you've got goats. You've got a neighbor with goats. If I remember right, you posted those on Facebook. If I remember right. Black Dragon, lovey love. It was an energy that went through my whole body. Nice. That's awesome. I hope it was pleasant. At Tim, he does have goats, but they're not in the. Oh yeah. Okay. So cute. Yes, they were the babies. Oh my god. I was like, oh, those babies are adorable. The chat just unfroze for me. I had to refresh. Okay. Yeah, squirrels could do it. Rats can do it. Even mice can do it. The birds and bees can do it too. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. Yeah, I would definitely be checking in to that and seeing they're right. Yeah. I would definitely be checking in and just finding out if you've got any holes in or screens to holes that go into the roof or under the property, depending upon how the property was built. Of course, I grew up in a plumbing family and understand construction and housing and all that kind of stuff. Um, so I was raised in a business, family business, and so just said that to somebody yesterday. My grandfather owned a very well-known plumbing business in Seattle, and he used to joke saying, "Oh yeah, I've plumbed half of Seattle." He used to talk about when he came to Seattle as a kid. Of course, God, I can't remember what year he was born. I was trying to remember if it was 1908 or earlier. I think it was earlier. And he used to talk about digging ditches for some of these big, colossal buildings, brick buildings in downtown Seattle. In downtown Seattle, he was a ditch digger, and he started learning about plumbing from a God, I haven't talked about my grandfather like this in quite a long time. I was going to say years, but it's been quite a long time. And I don't think I've ever publicly talked about this story. But he basically, under the age of 18, I was 14 or 15, I believe. He was digging ditches and on the big hills in downtown Seattle and putting in these huge sewer pipes and things like that, with a lot of different crew. And he had I'm trying to remember how he phrased it. He had a head crewman. I can't think of what they're called at this second. And the guy taught him everything about plumbing, so much so that at 17, he wanted to take his plumber's license, take the test for it, and all of that. And they wouldn't let him because he was 17. You had to be 18. And so he and the family even knew this. My great uncles talked about this over the early years of the early 80s. Well, early years over the. I remember my great uncle talking about this when he lived in Seattle for quite some time before he and his wife, my great aunt, moved back to Yakima, Washington, and they would have a conversation about what Grandpa used to do. So I knew that when Grandpa talked about it, I knew he was telling the truth about how he grew up and how difficult it was. And he became the man of the house at 8 years old. And you're talking about women who drove chuck wagons cross country, who drove wagon teams across the country by themselves as a single parent. Something not so easy to do, and who got across the Columbia River back in those days. I mean, I've got stories that he told that I will never fucking forget. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I will never effing forget, because they imprinted on me. And Grandpa talked about them with such. He was angry at his father. I mean, like really freaking angry at his father for leaving. Oh, shut up, stomach. Really angry at his father for leaving he and his siblings and his mom. And his mom was like, "We're moving. We're leaving here and we're moving." And she crossed mountains in a wagon train and via a lot of major hardships, driving a team of horses on her own for the long haul duration, and over a major waterway. And it's stuff that it's a big deal. really, really freaking big deal. And to get a wagon and a team of horses across the Columbia River, that's a gigantic deal. Excuse me, that's a gigantic deal. And then to go from the Columbia River down into middle eastern side of Oregon, and then him leaving and basically going up through to Yakima and then over into Seattle. It's kind of a really, really big deal. I've got pictures of my grandfather in the 40s, I think, 30s or 40s, 30s, I think. It was before he and my grandmother were married. And my mom was born in 38. And I've got a picture of my grandfather in I want to call it a Cadillac. It's not a Cadillac. I can't remember the old-fashioned car it was, classic car. It's a car, and he's sound asleep, and the car is out in the middle of a wheat field. And I have another picture where my great uncle, one of my great uncles, and my grandfather were working to clear this field with a team of horses and a very large, a gigantic team of horses, okay? And I mean, that's history. That is Washington State history right there. And I've got pictures like that of my family members and things like that. And I'm like, wow, okay, so you've got a team of horses, but you're driving a vehicle. It's just mind bender stuff, you know. And you have at the bottom of the picture, and they're black and whites. And then you could see where a photographer tried to color in the picture, and I'm like, oh my God, you do that on portraits, you don't do that on anyway. That's a whole nother photography story, but yeah. So, Nikki, talk in detail of your Men in Black encounters. Okay. In just a minute, Sovereign, I'll get to that in just a minute. I will get to that subject matter in just a minute. So basically, you have a lot of different aspects of life and different things. So, you know, when you're raised in a family of business, and you're raised around construction and different things of that nature, there are a lot of different things that you take on with your personality and knowledge base that you knew. I mean, at 6 and 7 years old, I was helping my mom with my grandfather's property, where we'd go in after a tenant and we would clean and wash the walls. And I learned how to tape, and I started learning how to tape in mud by the time I was 8 years old. And by the time I was a teenager, I was getting paid to sand knotty pine wood beams, and to stain knotty pine, and to paint or whitewash knotty pine. And so there were summer jobs that I would take in order to pay for my school clothes or my school supplies, because mom couldn't afford it. And so that's how I got my yeah, I love knotty pine too. I miss seeing the property where my grandfather put knotty pine all over the basement walls. He had finished out. Um, he had bought this double wide mobile home and literally put it on stilts, and then hand dug out a basement, and then had a team of guys come in and pour the foundation. He did all the framing for the foundation so that the cement could be poured, and that was signed off by the right people and everything. And then the cement was poured, and so then the foundation became of this mobile home became this cement basement, and he built it up from there, and ended up putting knotty pine all over the walls. It was gorgeous, and of course I was the one who was sanding, and so he's the one who nailed everything up, and I would come for a week at a time, and I've got pictures of me on the back porch that he had built, and the picture just changed again on the TV, of me dealing with this knotty pine wood. And oh my God, the smell of knotty pine is so different in comparison to other woods. It's like cherry wood, mahogany, knotty pine. Those are some of my most favorite woods. Well, minus one, but anyway, that's a different story. There went my lights again. Yeah, see. Okay, now this is yeah, Susie, you caught that. um, so anyhow, yep. Anyhow, cheeks lit up, eyes lit up. It's funny how nobody else is saying anything about that. But anyway, okay, so let me go back up in chat. Okay, Sovereign, there's a new S.S.P. LOP on the circuit talking about he's got a CIA altar. What is a CIA altar? Okay, S.S.P. is, oh my God, brain fart. Here we go again. If he's got an altar, S.S.P. is a very, very specific subject, Sovereign. It usually means that the person that has gone through the S.S.P. program has been broken down as a child, regarding their personality, regarding they get broken, they get mentally broken, and then they get rebuilt basically, and the person can have many quote unquote altars. So that's what that means. And it's a government issue. In other words, government has control of that individual. It's like a sleeper. Think of it as a sleeper. But that's what it's revolving around, Sovereign. Um, okay. Oh, I'm not commenting on that. Okay. Okay, Sovereign. CIA hoaxers. All S.S.P types are clown, clone, Satanist trash. Bullshit. I say bullshit. And I have damn good reason for saying bullshit. Talking about computers. Okay, so Nikki, talk about in detail of your MIB encounters. Don't know if I'm not going to talk about in detail of my MIB stuff. I am going to talk about MIB, Men in Black. I've had specific individuals follow me. I've had that I knew that were government. I've had cars follow the car that I was in that I knew was government. Yeah, I will talk about something happy in just a moment. No, not all of them have engaged in satanic rituals. That is a myth. Some have, but not all have. Okay, so basically, after I came out, I didn't have too many problems regarding MIB before I openly talked about the book, that damn book. And after I talked about it, that's when shit started happening. I was pretty well protected regarding that kind of thing until I started talking about it. And when I asked my question and it got ran up the government into deep government, and then all hell started breaking loose. And so it just really, it caused some issues. After that, I started noticing certain types of vehicles. Well, I'm not going to say what types. I have not had face-to-face that I'm consciously aware of. I can say that, but I have had them regard. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Say it. I have had them screw with me in other ways. I've had them in my home. You've known about that. I've talked about that quite openly. I've had, right after I had, I talked about the book, asked the question, then started publicly talking about the book. I started and after the very first incident with the deep ops, deep black government, where they literally freaking attacked me, and I protected myself. Right after that, I started having astral. I had government agents in my home in astral, and that can be confirmed by a number of different individuals that I know, who have helped me deal with them. And yeah, it's not been fun. Yeah, that also makes some interesting things regarding what Black Dragon said. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Bullying, yeah, love you, love. Bullying is some punk ass bitch shit. Yes, it is. And she's specifically talking about agencies. I fully agree. It's bullshit behavior. Anyway, and Amy says, agreed, the Satanist theories are overplayed 100 times over. Yeah, I fully agree with that. So there's the answer to that. We never did go back to, I think who was it? Was it Derek or was it Black Dragon? I think it was Black Dragon that wanted to talk about World War II. What did you want to know about World War II? I have a lifetime from World War II. Sorry, guys. I forgot I was going to put myself on mute before I picked that up. I do apologize for that sound. I do have a lifetime that I remember from World War II that I have not been able to allow myself to delve into. I have not had the kind of support that I feel I need regarding that, because it is such a horrific time in that time period, and it's actually in many ways worse than what we experienced in the 1800s. Many ways, and I can't even, what people do to each other, it just goes above and beyond. And I am still working on certain aspects of my life, and so there's that. On to happiness, on to positivity. So there are lots of positive things that we can do for each other. There are a lot of happy things. There are things that you can do for yourself. You can create joy. If you do not have joy, yeah, I understand, Black Dragon. My two great uncles talked very little about the time that they were in the Navy, and but when they did talk, you sat up and you listened because you knew it was important if they were talking about it. I had There are a lot of different things that I remember from a lot of different lifetimes. But anyway, so if you do not have this support, you create your own support in different ways. If you do not have the happiness or the joy in your life, frickin' create your own. Get the hell out and find a way to create your own. If you have a detrimental situation that you're involved in that is like a family situation and you can't get out of because of not just a sense of duty, but because of whatever responsibility or financial or whatever, create your own joy. Whether that's through art, whether that's through activity, whether that's through sense, such as the sense of smell or the sense of taste, building, creating, whether that's creating food or new recipes, or whether that's art or drawing or painting, or hell, for that matter, coloring. They have adult coloring books. Find an adult coloring book. I know people that paint rocks. They do mosaics on rocks. Beautiful things I've seen. Other people can't do shit regarding the beauty of it, but the colors that they do on the rocks are gorgeous, you know? So you have to, it's about perspective. It's about what you can create. I know families that didn't have money and they didn't have money for picture frames. So they had construction paper because they had kids. So they created picture frames out of construction paper and would create family photo frames using a sheet of construction paper and putting, I mean, you do what you have to create things of beauty. I mean, if you have a talent for art, and I mean, there are different things that you can do. Gardening was one of mine at the time. So yeah, you find different things. Sense of smell could be a soap that you use, could be a shampoo or a body lotion, or for some people it could be a cologne or a perfume. For that matter, it could be an aerosol spray, a room cleaner, or for that matter, I know people that resonate with Pine Sol. I know people that resonate with Lysol. I know others that are like, the smell of bleach means things are clean, so they clean. Or others use vinegar. I know other people who are like, no, I don't want to be anywhere near vinegar, and yet they would prefer something completely different to clean with. Whatever you choose to do when you clean, yeah, and Love You Love says Noxema. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, back in the 70s, that's what we used to clean our face was Noxema. You got makeup off with Noxema, and then you washed your face. So yeah, you're not alone though, Amy. And I do understand that very much. But yeah, so I mean, I know people that clean with like a certain percentage of rubbing alcohol combined with essential oils combined with other things. I mean, it's just what they, you know. But what I was going to say is um, cleaning is a form of releasing energy, the action, the physical action of cleaning. excuse me, the physical action of cleaning, the action of, okay, loud noise. Hopefully not too loud, not as loud as the other one. The physical action of doing that, you literally shift energy. By cleaning, you shift energy. I know people that, oh my God, they used to clean their walls religiously 4 times a year. I don't remember them doing their ceilings, but they would do their walls 4 times a year. It used to boggle my mind, and I never understood why. And it's because they had everything had to be in a specific order in a specific way, and it helped them to see that their home was cleaned wherever they lived. They had a number of different homes actually, and that's something that they did in every home. I can't imagine that kind of cleaning, but yeah, love you, love. Oil of Olay, Oscar de la Renta. My nanny is coming through. Yeah, I had family that used oil of Olay and Oscar de la Renta or even Jean Nate, or there's so many different things that those folks and it's usually in their senior years that they would use. So yeah, Amy, I knew someone that would use dishwashing detergent to clean his lawn and driveway. Well, okay, so here, Amy, is something that most people don't know. Dishwashing soap, typical cheap dishwashing soap, not the advanced cleaning stuff, but the real cheap stuff, like the $1 a bottle type of thing. Liquid soap, it literally it gives bugs diarrhea. I mean, it'll kill bugs, it literally goes right through the bugs, and they shit their guts out, and you will not have bugs in your yard. It's a great what is it, lawn cutter worm. Those little, when they curl up, they're green and they got a green line on them. They got a dark green line on them, and they leaf cutter worm is what I remember them being. And you find them just slightly under the soil in grass, and it literally, if you take a hose end sprayer and fill like anywhere from 2 to 4 tablespoons of that lawn end hose end sprayer, and then fill the rest of it up with water, warm water, so that you get all that soap in there, and then set the dial for a spray setting. For a light spray setting, you can actually water your lawn and use that soap in there. And actually, if you add a can of really cheap, like half a can, like 6 ounces of really super cheap beer, like super, super cheap, and preferably stale, and mix that in, you can actually feed your lawn and get rid of bugs at the same time. I used to do this kind of stuff all the time. I used to mix up all kinds of different recipes for lawn and garden. And if you used lemon in your concoction for your yard, then you'd have no more problems with mosquitoes. I mean, there were all different kinds of things. Well, Tim, the only time I ever bought cheap beer was for when I was mixing it in with garden supplies. I'd buy chewing tobacco and super cheap beer, super cheap chewing tobacco, super cheap beer, super cheap lawn detergent or dishwashing detergent, that kind of stuff. Drinking beer, that's a completely different ballgame. But when it came to, I wasn't going to be a snob when it came to this kind of stuff, because I was creating my own stuff and I was doing it as organically as I could. Now, a lot of the soaps were, I wasn't using that over, I was using that over my flowers, but flowers I wasn't eating. Over the fruits and veg, different ball game. I would not use that soap for fruits and veg, but I would, mix up a concoction, and yeah, there's all you need is half a can or a can of 12-ounce can of beer, and you got a really good, you can mix it up really well for your lawn and your garden and stuff. Sorry guys, I've got to have a bite of a little piece of cheese here, so I gotta start it. Anyway, now if I go to cook with beer, then I use a damn good beer. Anyway, different subject. No, I'm not gonna mute the mic this time. You're gonna have to tough it out. Beer butt oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's where you stuff the chicken over the can of beer and let the beer evaporate through the chicken. Yeah, I understand that. So basically, yeah, I knew you're not gonna like that, but it's how it is right now. For gardens, I use Dawn with crushed bugs and marigolds. Yeah, marigolds are excellent. You crush the, if you get the flowers and you crush, it has a very specific scent, and a lot of bugs don't like that. Tim, I'm out. Love you guys. Busy day tomorrow. Yeah, good night, Tim. Yeah, I have a quiet day tomorrow, which I'm very thankful for. Sleep well, my dear. I hope you have really good dreams. Really fun dreams. Everybody deserves really good fun dreams. Lovey love, are you staying or are you just saying goodnight to Tim? Duckface Simon, always a pleasure, my bro. Duckface, sweet cooties. Sleep well. Love to everyone here. Yeah. I'm wavering. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's 2 hours 37 minutes. I said I was going to go 2 hours and 30. So, yeah, I'm not. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. So, but when I do, it's like maybe 4 times a year I'll have alcohol. Number one, that costs money. So, Sovereign, why won't you expose the dark side regarding MIB? I have exposed them. I just won't get into very specifics. I won't get into super specifics because some of those are private. And I'll talk about a lot of things, but there are certain things that I will not talk about publicly. That's nobody's fucking business but mine and whoever I make it's business. So, person has to be really freaking close to me to get information, and even then, they might not get everything. Yeah, and Amy says, Nikki's meme. I don't drink alcohol much, but when I do, yeah, she's right about that. Yeah, I'm typically a once or twice a year person, but sometimes it'll be up to 4 times a year. I'll have 1 to 3 beers. And if I'm not having beer, then it'll be hard alcohol, and it's usually not more than 4 ounces. If it's more than 4 ounces, it's usually not more than 6. So I try not to go over 6 ounces. And that's in one night. And I have a pretty high tolerance, so it takes a lot to get me really drunk or drunk. So, matter of fact, my my dearly departed loved one got trained, shall we say, to drink certain groups of individuals. I'm trying to figure out how to say this correctly. Got trained how to drink certain individuals or certain groups of individuals under the table and still be coherent enough to do their job and do it well with clarity, as much clarity as possible. And clarity was pretty damn important. So they learned, and I learned you can't drink him under the table. That was years ago. And he taught me some things that they only teach certain types of people. And I went, wow, okay. That, and I had a father who was a hardcore alcoholic. One of the things that my mom raised me around was she wanted to make sure that she would never become an alcoholic. So it was very rare that she would drink. And in some regards, I take after my mom regarding that. I think if I had been raised around my dad, I think it would have been a very different and difficult life. Oh my God, thank you for the 9 likes. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate that. Thank you. But the last number of years of my dad's life, he was in AA and was going through the 12 steps. And he had about 25 years worth of being an alcoholic. And it took its toll. It really took its toll on him. And so I learned, not only as a teenager, but as a very young adult, long before my family came along, I should say. I was known at parties for holding up walls. And I realized and recognized right away that I very easily could become an alcoholic. It was easy. It was fun. It was a way to avoid. There's so many aspects to it. So, yeah, it's just, was kind of tough. I also realized that regarding, and it blew money. And when I stopped blowing money, I went, oh, well, I could do this and I can do that, and I would rather. So I found that I would prefer to use my time wiser. I would choose to use my money in a wiser way. Instead of, for not lack of a better word or a better phrase, but I chose to use my money in a more constructive way to where it wasn't peeing it out or crapping it down the toilet, because that's essentially what you do. You're drinking all that alcohol to gain a specific, okay, somebody's calling me a buzzkill. I don't give a shit. What I have witnessed and what I've gone through with different family members and what I've seen other people go through is really difficult. I know somebody that it's nearly killed them a couple of times. And They've come back and made some major changes in their life, and they're lived to tell about it. And honestly, I think that they really should kind of go on a circuit to talk about the things that I mean, I think it could be very healing for them, but I don't know if that's in their timeline this time around, in this lifetime for them. But they've come out of some really frightening, truly, truly frightening things, and I commend them for doing what they have been able to do. So I've seen different extremes of it, and it's one thing if you're drinking a few glasses of wine a night versus bottle after bottle after bottle every night, which is what my dad did. I don't know if my dad ever switched over from wine to hard alcohol. I don't know. I just know that he was very in deep, and it was hard for him, and it was hard for everybody around him. I know that. I don't know how my step siblings were with him as their stepdad. I have no idea. Yeah. So I take alcoholism very seriously. I take drinking very seriously. And when I do it, I do it very specifically. I usually have a couple of goals. Unfortunately, because I am a psychic and a medium and an energy worker, and I deal with those things in a very specific way, when I drink, it opens up, and here's something for those people who have that kind of abilities, those kind of abilities. What you need to understand is it literally doesn't just lower your inhibitions for the average everyday person, but as an energy worker, as a psychic, as a medium, it significantly lowers your defenses. No matter how strong your defenses are, no matter how, it really lowers those inhibitions. And it can make it very detrimental to you, which is another reason why I don't drink very often. It's one thing to have 1 ounce of alcohol versus 6 ounces. In lowering inhibitions. It lowers. Black Dragon says alcohol lowers your energy. It specifically lowers your frequency. And wow, does that bring other beings in? I actually know somebody that is a psychic medium. Lovey love, y'all preaching. I am preaching because I've seen some really horrific things. Here's an example of it. I know somebody who's a psychic medium. They're quite good. But when they use marijuana, and I don't have anything against marijuana, I have something against what this person is doing to themselves. When they smoke marijuana and then turn around and drink, I have literally seen spirits take them over, literally possess them. And I'm not talking entities, I'm talking spirits. So I've seen that. And it makes it tough and difficult. And if you don't like what I'm talking about, that's too damn freaking bad. I understand that. But I have been through things with different people. I have witnessed different things with different people, and some of it is horrifying, and some of it is like, Wow. Okay. So if you do energy and you're an energy worker, this is going to be hard for you to hear. So it's a tough one. And this specific individual that I'm speaking about drinks quite frequently and smokes quite frequently. And when they combine the two every weekend, and you're living on a piece of property that has a great deal of paranormal on top of it to begin with, that's problematic. Really problematic, folks. So my statement to you is please be conscious of what you're doing to your body and your soul. That specific person, my heart breaks for them because they know exactly what's going on. They know. It's not, they're not conscious of it. They are fully conscious and aware of this. So, and that's why it breaks my heart regarding that specific individual, because they are very nice person. They are a very loving person, very caring person. They know, but that's how they're dealing with their stress. And I understand that. I get that, but I can't be around that. I'm sorry. It's not healthy for me. I have to be able to take care of me. And in order for me to be around somebody like that, that also means being around all the negative spirits that they draw in and the different negative people that they draw in. Because the more you get to doing that, the more negativity you also bring in your life. And that is hard for people to hear. Well, it's really hard for people to hear, folks. I understand that. Ouch. Oh, finally, finger just finally popped. Sorry. So yeah, it's just it's just very difficult. And I understand people are not going to like me saying that, but this is just something that I've witnessed, gone through with different people, and you know, I love and care about people, but I also have to be able to be healthy for myself. And it's really tough walking away from people I care about when they choose to consistently do that for years at a time. And you look at a situation like my dad, 25 years. There's somebody else that I know that's 40 years in as an alcoholic. 40 years. Hello, folks. Usually by that time, the person's liver is gone. I know a number of people who one half of one beer literally goes into their bloodstream. Their liver cannot digest it anymore. They cannot process it not digest. Their liver cannot process it anymore. So the alcohol literally goes into their blood. You talk to any doctor, talk to a nurse. They'll tell you that's the truth. They'll also tell you a whole bunch of other stuff that goes with it. Mind-blowing stuff. Yeah, it's literally, and if it's an alcohol, it's an addiction. If it's to that point, there's no coming back, because your liver can, then you're dealing with some very serious problems. You've got 2 kidneys, but you've only got one liver, baby. And your liver can't then filter out things. Yeah, Black Dragon, Nikki, there is a time when those like us have to walk away from the negative. He says, my sister is an alcoholic. It makes it hard. Black Dragon, it makes it really hard, really tough. Because as much as you love somebody, there are times where you have to walk away. You can be the most supportive person, but that other person may not ever get it. And it's the life that they've chosen, but yet it's also their brain is addicted. And there's a psychological factor that comes to it. There's a chemical dependence factor that comes into play. I mean, it's a big frickin' deal. Love you, love. I'm not a lifetime drinker, just a heavy drinker in the last several years. Yeah, and see, that's the thing, love you, love. I know people that are lifetime drinkers, and I know people that started just a few years ago that are building into lifetime drinkers or the last part of their lifetime. And it's tough. You have to start asking yourself the hard questions. I mean, that's what I learned with these people, and that's what they've told me. I know people that are classified and called dry, counselors call them dry drunks because they literally stopped doing what it is that they were doing on their own. They didn't go through counseling. They didn't go through AA. They didn't go through anything. They just automatically stopped. But here's the problem with that. If you don't have the counseling and you're not going through a type of step program, then you're not getting the why are you doing this? Why is it this way? Why is it that way? And it all delves right back into counseling. There's so many aspects to it. It gets to the deeper problems that are really going on psychologically. And once you break those cycles, you'll know. And it's hard. And she says, I need a love. I need a good counselor. Finding a good counselor is hard. I've talked about this before. Write up a list of questions to find a good counselor that is that is the right fit for you. Interview them. You're hiring them. You can fire them. But at the same time, you gotta look at all the aspects too. Yeah, I know people that went that route, Black Dragon, and it never worked. And a lot of people, when they get real good at concealing stuff, they can talk a good talk, but they can't walk a good walk, and it makes it tough. Anyway, on to a different subject. Sovereign, did you have any more questions for me regarding some of the things that you wanted me to talk about? Have you read that article about the origin of the word? No. Carrion race. You're going to have to either describe them or show me a picture. Algohulia? No, alcohol. It's demonic in origin. Have you read that article about the origin of the word? No, I've not. I don't even know what that word is. Carrions, birds. Oh, Are you talking about the blue the bird-like race? There is a bird-like, well, there's more than one that I'm aware of. I know there is a form of they're kind of a blue teal, but they're not, yeah, people call them avians, but they're not really avians. And that's kind of a myth that was created by, oh God, can't think of his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's a piece of work and a liar. There are bird ET races. The person that would know more about that would be R. Keith Andrews than I do. Yes, Corey Good. Thank you, Amy. And so it's kind of really driven me nuts about who how they've been described, because I've never seen them with beaks. Yeah, Amy says he admitted under oath he made it all up as intellectual property. Yes, he most certainly frickin' did. He did admit that under oath because of a court case between he and somebody else, and that's a whole nother subject. But I do know that there is at least 3 races of ETs that do have some sort of feathers. I don't know what else to call them. It's like it's part of their skin. But I've never seen an ET race that has a beak. Oh, ouch, 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 ouch. Hang on a second, guys. Going through pain. Ouch. Sorry, going through pain. Owie, 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 owie. Oh, and you're not here. Oh, yes, you are. There you are. Okay, hang on a minute, guys. I gotta put mute. Ouch. That stuff is phenomenal. If you have nerve pain like I just had that shot up one butt cheek and down, partly down the leg, I highly recommend this stuff. Product placement. Oh my God, that's not nice. Anyway, it's like Love You Love said, oh, not feather. I'm fuzzy, not feathery. That's not what I thought you said. Anyway, magnesium doesn't work solidly for me, Simon. Dogface says I had nerve pain and they recommended magnesium. I don't have nerve pain anymore. Magnesium isn't a solid answer for me. It works on a daily basis. I take a lot of magnesium daily. Matter of fact, this is the magnesium I do take. Product placement. I highly recommend this product. Highly recommend this product. It's anyway, it works wonders for me, and I can take it without having bowel issues, because if you take the wrong kind of magnesium, then you're going to have bowel issues, hardcore bowel issues, and I do not. I know who the owner is, Lovey Love. And I've been buying their products for over 30 years. No, for 30 years. I had to think about that. Anyway, yeah, the prescription that they wanted me on is not conducive, causes me problems. So when I get breakthrough, this kind of pain is called breakthrough pain. And that's when I break out the homeopathics. And this is a homeopathic product that I highly freaking recommend. Really highly recommend for nerve pain. So anyway, but the ETs that I know that are bird-like, there's actually, I did say 3, but the one that I keep thinking of is they're kind of a blue, green, brown type of tan, beigey tan type of color, mixed with blue green. They aren't anything at all like what I've ever seen on anything I've ever seen on any YouTube, any meme, any artwork. Nobody's ever come close. The feathers, I wouldn't even classify them as feathers. It's more like a skin. It's more like a scale than a feather, but I don't know how to classify it. It's anyway. And then there are ETs that are owl-like, very, very much owl-like. And I know people that see them on a regular basis. There are people in Alaska who, in a specific town, that have seen them on a regular basis. Wow, really regular basis. No, thank you, Simon. I appreciate you trying to help. That means a lot. Love you, love. Premium Nutrition, please sponsor our angel here because she is the real deal, holified. Thank you. I appreciate that. Black Dragon, I use medication for my pain. Love you, love. Well, they can give you 10% off at least. Yeah, I've been going for a long time. Dog face, I can do painkillers or I'll smash them in one go. No self-control. Yeah, I stay away from painkillers because they affect my body in such a different way. And I was always really concerned about getting addicted, and I never ever wanted that to happen. So I used to write every pain med I ever took down. If it was cut in half, if it was cut in quarters, if I took 1.5, if I took 1.25. I even went going to bed, sleep well. Says Susie B. Good night, Susie. Sleep well, my dear. Pleasant, happy dreams. So yeah, it just you do what you can. Do what you can. So I eventually worked my way from, in the 2008 back injury, I eventually worked my way down to just using naproxen, also an anti-inflammatory, pretty high dose of it. And then I eventually worked my way down to ibuprofen. And on really rough days, I'd take an eighth of a pain pill, 1/8. And let me tell you, trying to cut up a half a pill down to a quarter of a pill down to an eighth of a pill, let me tell you, that's not fun. But just and I deal with pain differently than a lot of people. I do a lot of deep breathing, a lot of meditation, a lot of that kind of stuff. Thank you. Whoever's doing the loves and the bouquet of flowers, that means a lot. Thank you. Tritating down. Yeah, very much so. So I used to do all this kind of stuff. It was a really, really, really big deal to me. Really big deal, in fact. And so and then I was doing my exercising and eating 120, 118, 116 to 100, no, 112 to 120. I had to think about that. 112 to 120 grams of protein and 77 to 84 grams of carbs. And I was doing all this walking and exercising and all this stuff, and was down 60 pounds. And then and then I'd go, I ended up, just after COVID hit, I ended up breaking my tailbone, and it all went to hell in a handbasket. So was at a completely different pain level, was at completely, oh God, it was nasty. It was really, really bad. So you have to deal with pain through breathing, through meditation, through what works for you, and not through, tailbone. Actual fucking landed on a pile of firewood, and literally snapped the little bastard right off. Anyway, so yeah, it's very, very painful. I'm not going to say which painkillers I was on. I'm not going down that road. But yeah, you've got to progress yourself off this stuff. And I had the mindset to do it, and I was bound and determined I was going to do it. But when I broke my tailbone, it was a really bad situation. And I put the weight back on and doing the walking, and I can now get to the point to where I can do this and not scream. I can do this and not scream. I can go up and not scream. I'm not happy about going up, but it's better. I also do chiropractic care and treatment, and when things get really bad, I go in and I do acupuncture. And acupuncture on a psychic medium opens up meridians that get, for me, I now know that I need to have a recording of me as soon being done as soon as the needles are being removed out of my body, because once they're removed out of my body, the psychic stuff explodes. And I found out I was exactly right by the reaction of somebody, because they can't say anything. And I was like, wow, okay. So just an FYI, if you're a psychic medium and an energy worker, and you do acupuncture from your spine down your legs and all of that, expect your meridians to go whoosh as soon as you have all of that removed. It's a hell of a mind bender, let me tell you. And if you have cupping on top of that, and I love having cupping done if it's done correctly. And it always has been. I don't know why I said it that way, but anyway, it's just you figure out a way to make things work for pain. You have to. Lovey love, you can get away with anybody else calling me darling Nikki. Nobody else can get away with that. But don't use it too often, dear. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm just going to give you a heads up. Don't use that too often with me. Okay? No, you're fine. I'm just giving you a heads up so that because if I'm not feeling good, I'm fine with it right now. But if I'm not feeling good, I will tend to get bitchy about it. And I don't want to be bitchy with people. And I don't like it when I'm like that. So that's why I'm saying something right now. Okay? Because I like you. And I want you to know that. So anyway. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh, squeaky, squeaky. Oh, there goes the tailbone. Yeah, yesterday I popped my tailbone and I almost screamed. I did scream, but I didn't with everything in me, but oh my God, it hurt so bad. And it hasn't popped like that in a long time. I thought I was gonna have some issues. I mean, like major issues. I went in my room and I had a few tears and I was like, okay, when you have your tailbone that's broken, pop a specific way and it's connected via, that's considered a spinal injury, just an FYI. I did not know that. Anyway, Black Dragon, Amy, I don't take pills. I have a very high level pain tolerance. See, Black Dragon, I am the same way. So if I'm oohing and ahhing and owing, it's bad. Like really freaking bad. So on somebody else that doesn't have a high pain tolerance, they're going to be screaming. I literally physically cannot scream anymore, which is why I do these high-pitched things. Squeaks, moans, groans, whatever you want to call them. I actually did that in a doctor's office yesterday, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I will be. You're going to be hearing that a lot for me. I do apologize ahead of time." So, I get that. Oh, you're referring to, okay. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, you're welcome, Lovey Love. Dog face. I have never felt my tailbone, never really thought about it. Yeah, let me tell you, I've had, I think, every damn bone in my body pop. Almost every bone. And I am here to tell you, when your tailbone pops, it's excruciating. And the word excruciating doesn't even freaking come close. Not at all. Lovey Love, the lighthouse of the spinal cord. Yeah. Lovey Love, that's how I have all these unidentified bruises and tiny marks. We need to have a chat over that. Just a second. Dogface, I can take pain. It's the level 3 or 4 pain that's day after day that stuffs me. Oh, I understand that. Wears you down. Yeah. See, that's why I was when I was having 3 weeks of headaches that were not headaches, they were low migraines. It was too much. Which is why you guys, I think last week, because I'm not having the migraines right now, or the headaches. I was having they're mild headaches, but they're hormone headaches, and I know that. Stress headaches I know how to deal with, but these hormone things, I'm just gonna say it. Perimenopause sucks. Whoever came up with that one, I like to smack the shit out of them. Anyway, that's the first. And I don't have a problem with you guys knowing that. I don't give a shit. That's the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about too. Female stuff, needs to be talked about. People need to talk about it. So why is it, oh, we don't talk about things like, oh, F off. Yes, we do. You have to. Let's protect, deflect the bullshit. Yes. Okay, Black Dragon. Nikki, if I say I'm in pain, I should have been in a hospital a week ago. I can withstand pain from broken bones most of the time. I don't know if I'm injured. Oh, I understand this, Black Dragon, more than you could ever imagine. Love you, love who, me? Love you, love furry menopause. Rawr, yeah. Does Lilith convert to her nature of origin? That's a good question. Amy, Lilith is busy managing somewhere else. Yeah, that's very true. Dogface, if you can't handle your women talking about women shit, you're not a man. Bing! Right on, Simon. Brav the F-O. Brav the F on. That is spot on, dude. Right the hell on. Sovereign. I have a very high pain tolerance also. If Lovey Love were to jump and stomp on my face on a couch or bed, I would interpret as pleasure, not, oh my God. Normally I read ahead. I didn't read ahead. Otherwise, I would not have read that out loud. Sorry, my dear. Lovey Love at Amy tells me where to apply for assistance positions. You are a smartass, Sovereign. Of course, we already know that, but anyway. I'm nice. See, I didn't mean. Derek, help me. Why won't you laugh out loud? They Live is very good. Good. I'm glad you like it, Derek. Oh yeah, boots. Oh my God. Ouch. Oh, that's funny. All right, 3:23, 3 hours and 23 minutes. Okay, folks. Lovey love. Be careful what you wish for. Oh no, shit. Be careful if you manifest. Oh my God, be careful what you manifest. Man, you got to be really freaking careful with what you manifest. Okay, now I actually have to have a little something, so I am going to mute. So Sovereign, you get your wish. Okay, little bits of protein and a little bit of carb. All right. Love you, love. Ah, don't challenge me. Ain't nothing better come within 100 yards of me or I'm gonna smell you coming. Yep. That's usually how it goes, isn't it? Totally understand that. Okay, my light has been flashing for quite some time. What the hell is going on? The hell? That can go away, that can go away. Oh! Susie, why didn't this pop up before? Okay, hang on a minute. No, this is not message requests. Oh! She sent me awesome. Yay! Cool. Okay, hang on a minute. My phone is acting wonky. Wonky, wonky, wonky. Oh, you suck. Speaking of phones acting wonky, pain in the butt. Hang on a second, guys. I want to see this, damn it. Okay, so I guess we have to do it this way. Hang on a second. Momentarily. We're still not doing it. Son of a bee. Alright, well, supposedly that's not going to let me do it. So, alright, so we go back over here and we go back there. And we go back this and we go over here and I come here and I do that and we get rid of this and we go here, do this instead, and now we go to cut. And okay, we'll go down one moment. Here we go. Aha! Bingo. Okay, I'm back. Fool's gold? That is too close for comfort, sniffers. Amy, I usually can't manifest a decent parking spot, so I can wish away most everything as they don't take me all that seriously. Derek, Lucky Charms has Halloween cereal out, edition chocolate haunted marshmallows. Oh, interesting. Serious amount of sugar, Derek. I've been isolated in several dimensions. Yes, dear, you have. Love you, love at Amy. I might. Interesting. And I just saw an orb. Did anybody else see that? It was right. Oh, God. How to point. It was right there. Ouch. Snap, crackle, frickin' pop. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Paste. Watch. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, come on, my phone. Why are you being a bitch? Okay, my phone will not allow me to do anything with it. Well, you're being an asshole. And now my phone's not letting me do. Oh, aren't you being a pill? Oh, damn, I hate it when my phone becomes a bitch. Okay, there we go. Now we can go and do that. Okay, come on. All right, done with that. Sorry, guys. I don't know. It's just, I guess that was my break. Black Dragon, strange, just had a quick ringing in my ear. Oh, right here. I was just going to ask. Dogface, not sure what we were doing, but woo, we got it, Derek. My buddy, Rob, typical skeptic podcast, told me someone from UFOlogy community is fighting for their life right now. Very popular name. Really? Private message me, Derek. Don't put them on a prayer list. Wow, that's bright. Okay. Really bright. Whoa, what the hell? Yeah, okay, so I've got my email up. Wow. Whew, that was bright. Got my email up. Message me who it is. Message me who it is, Derek. I just went back. I didn't see Derek. I literally had the phone in my hand at 2:18 yesterday when it... Oh, okay, got it. Hang on a minute. What dog face? So Simon is asking, what is your email? My email is restorebelief2022@gmail.com. That's how you can get a hold of me, guys. And just so that anybody knows, you can email me at restorebelief2022@gmail.com. You can get a hold of me that way. It is in my email address is at the bottom of every description box. Okay, lovey love. Look into things with mullein. Mullein tea, depends on the age too, of the kid. But look into mullein. Look into wild cherry bark. There's wild cherry bark syrups. There's mullein. Fennel. Yeah, cheers, Dogface. Cheers right back at you, dear. Fennel. Does she like the taste of licorice? Because eating fennel seeds is a natural mucus releaser, and depending upon the age of the kid, or even mix it with cherry bark, mullein, and fennel seeds into a tea, and mix up like a throat coat tea, traditional Hang on a minute. Okay, traditional medicinal teas makes up a brand of their tea called throat coat tea, and you can mix a tea bag of throat coat tea with a tea that you make up that has mullein, that has fennel, and that has I just said it, cherry bark. And if you mix that up as individual teas, and you can put it in juice, you can put it in and use like manuka honey, or locally raw honey. And there are things like that. I mean, do your own research, look up those items. There's all different kinds of teas and things and stuff, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. I mean, want a cup of tea. You're trying out a new tea. I mean, there's all different sorts of things. It doesn't have to be a big deal unless you make it a big deal. So, I mean, there's fruit smoothies you can make up, but you have to know food allergies. You have to know, and you have to talk to the parents. But it's you and I should have a conversation sometime. Hit me up in email. We'll have a conversation about that. But yeah, look up those three. So yeah, works wonders. I had kids that used to come and start pulling down my fennel plants. They'd eat them by the handfuls. Not a joke. So yeah, then you've had way too much alcohol. Lovey love, my daughter just told me I'm slurring. Yeah, that's way too much alcohol. So anyway, yeah, that's a lot of booze, dear. Go get some rest. Go get some sleep. For each ounce of alcohol you drink, it takes 1 hour for your liver to process each ounce of alcohol. Don't believe me? Go look it up and research it. Matter of fact, Lovey Love on my Facebook page and your friend on my Facebook page, I literally just posted something from a doctor who talks about that very thing. So yeah, go in and it's a video. It's like, I think it's like a 1 minute video. Anyway, so whoever else is in here, thank you for showing up. We have 9. I appreciate you all coming in. We're at 3 hours and 40 minutes. Simon. So, and it's going to take me 5 hours to get this all typed up. So I need to go too. And thankfully I have a very relaxed day tomorrow. So I'm going to be up probably until noon my time and then crash out again. So, and I probably will only get 5 hours of sleep now that I think about it. So anyway, folks, I hope you've learned some information out of here. I hope it's been positive and constructive to you. So, sorry, I was reading chat. I hope you take very good care of yourself. And I hope things work out for you for tomorrow and for the weekend. Many blessings to you. Much love and light. I never thought I would be the kind of person to be saying that, but I am. I wish you much love, and I wish you much positivity and light in your life, which encompasses happiness and joy. Always create joy. Learn about yourself, learn about how you psychologically deal with things. Create happiness, create joy, create light, create love, real love. Allow love in. On that note, guys, good wishes to you. Take very, very good care of yourself. Sweet dreams. Bye, guys in chat. Take very good care, guys. Adios. I hope to be back on next Wednesday and maybe, just maybe, Friday night. Either Friday night or Sunday night. Not sure. We'll see how I'm doing. Bye. Take very good care. Bye, everyone.